Well, Brian, it looks like the combine is ready to get off the trailer.
Yeah, combines are rolling in Oklahoma right now.
So what should producers be thinking about once they get the combine off, cut the wheat? What's the next step for double crop?
One of the first things to think about is if you're going into that double crop, what crop is it? What's the fertility behind it? Oftentimes with the double crop, we may not do a lot of fertility. A lot of it's considered a catch-all, just whatever's left over. Recent years we've had some really good rains, timely temperatures, and our double crops have had some really good yield potential. So if you think about soybean, not a lot you want to do with soybean as far as nitrogen goes. If you do have some potassium or phosphorus issues, deficiencies known about, go ahead and get a little bit of that fertility down to help those beans out and get as much out of them. When it comes to sorghum, and some of the guys are doing double crop corn around here right now, nitrogen fertility really starts coming into play. Typically, a double crop sorghum is just put in to recover whatever's left in the system. After wheat's out though and that straw starts breaking down, that nitrogen gets tied up. So if we're in a good environment with good yield potential, we can really limit what we've got out there if we don't fertilize properly. So think about getting some nitrogen down to get to a good yield level for both the sorghum and corn, whatever you're going with. Of course, if you're talking double crop, it's often planted into stubble,
right,
which makes nitrogen application a little bit more tricky. If we can get in the ground, try to find a way to inject it, whether it's liquid. Otherwise, broadcast that urea, try to get in front of a rain, or use liquid with streamer bars or something to push that liquid fertilizer down through the stubble.
I remember back during the heat of the drought a few years ago, you were saying don't apply nitrogen. Yeah. We've had the rain. Why is that so important now?
So one aspect to the rain that we have had is that we've recharged our subsoil. So we have good soil moisture at depth if we can get a crop established to get it going, which means we have a better benefit. You know, back in the drought, we had no subsoil moisture for that double crop to pull from. So now that we have subsoil moisture, all we need is a couple rains to get that crop up and get it going. The bad thing about nitrogen, if it's not incorporated into the soil, is that it needs the rain to get it down. So again, we're in that double crop. If you can get it on in front of rain, that's best case scenario.
Let's talk about, you know, the application. Do you just go out and say, I'm going to put down this amount, or do you test it?
You know, with double crop, it's really even harder to hit that right rate because it's in our summer.
Right.
Our summers are so unpredictable about how much heat and how much rain. You know, looking at our 10-day right now, we still have some rains in the forecast after this dry period. So it looks good. Soil moisture looks good. When I look at that, I think let's bump up our yield goal and up above what we might think we normally get. However, if you're in an area that's called for a prolonged dry period coming in to the future, then you just kind of sit back. And on some of these double crops, it might be that you plant, and when a rain comes, make your nitrogen applications then.
Right. Okay, so just real briefly, talk about leaching and how the nutrients move through the soil.
Okay. With nitrogen application, anything that's been applied in the fall or spring for the current winter wheat crop has gone from an ammonium form into a nitrate form. Now, ammonium is not mobile, so it stayed in that area around the surface or wherever it was put in. Nitrate is mobile in the soil, so every time we get a rainfall, anything that was left at the end of the wheat crop can be moving down. Luckily, with our weather, we aren't likely to get just a whole lot of rain coming up in the future to push it all the way down.
Right.
So if we've had nitrate move down in the profile a foot or so, as it dries, that moisture is coming back up and it's going to bring nitrate with it. So that nitrate in this double crop is kind of fluxing with soil moisture as that moisture moves up or moisture moves down.
One last question on that. Is there a floor to that, or will it go to 32 inches?
The floor is going to be a restrictive layer or wherever that soil stops draining to.
Right.
So if we have an increase in clay at depth, somewhere between 18 and 30 inches, it'll sit on top of that.
Right.
If we get some of our sandier ground, deeper soils, it can go as far as that moisture goes down.
Okay. Well, Brian, I know that you're busy trying to get the crop off, and we do appreciate it. And go to our website, sun.okstate.edu, for any of what we talked about during this segment.